So cold, but I'm so hot.
Dope boys.
I'm up in the trap, I'm dope boy.
With them knives.
Dope boy night. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. 1,008 gram headed straight to the block. Pirates this water while till it's hot. Mix it double up, turn a little to a lot. Right hand on the cell phone, taking order. Left hand 360 motor to a lot. Blue holler tips, got switches on the dot. State game, true stickers can't be stopped. Laughing at you haters while I'm thumbing through the paper. Says long at the bottom, won't you meet me at the top? The nigga ain't shit, yeah, get that a lot. Won't be deterred and I won't be stopped. Shaq Diesel number one, I post up on the block. 24/7 cause the hustle don't stop. 31 flavor, take an order like a waiter. I be selling more gas than a local truck stop. 1,200 strong for a pound to the top. Got me shining, I'm a star. Ask about me, I am legend. They gon' tell you who we are. Fuck these niggas, fuck these bitches. Get money, all I know. No love for these bitches. Never saving these hoes. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night.
When I'm thinking about the past, yeah, gon' get some nice gang, we at the spot. If we ever was short, then it's back to the block, you probably get shot. Every day the sun change, we getting money, that's one thing that's never gon' stop. Real dope boys do what it takes, playing high stakes, living to die. Do your time, keep it quiet, no matter who you are, don't get what you got. Stack it up, that's the bond to stay fresh. Oh, they think that you're not. Take a roll with a hoe, they gon' let you go. Somebody's gonna say you ain't hot. Just invest in yourself, don't worry about nobody else. There ain't no handout. If you say the same, put it on chain. Let them see you ain't tied down. Got a couple rain, did a lot of things. I ain't really gon' talk about it. Give me a trade, get you to go. She gon' show up and show out. So don't ask me what the dope at, cause you already your ground.
The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. The game so cold, but I'm so hot. Same old shit, still on the block. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Dope boy fresh with dope boy night. Same young nigga came up in the trap. I'm dope boy fresh with dope boy night. State gang the mob, we in too deep. MoneyBoy Trey, Looney Tune melodies. Let's go! I can take a bitch if I want. Take her down, send her back in the morning. Purple kush, purple drink like Bonnie. Black op shit, got gun like the Hummer. Bulletproof vest, case a nigga wanna harm it. No conversation, he ain't talking about the money. I die about mine, never take nothing from it. I die about mine, never take nothing from it. I can take a bitch if I want her. Take her down, send her back in the morning. Purple kush, purple drink like Bonnie. Black op shit, got gun like the Hummer. Bulletproof vest, case a nigga wanna harm it. No conversation, he ain't talking about money. I die about mine, never take nothing from it. I die about mine, never take nothing from it. Hey, little nigga, I was trapping out the car. Single parent home, being a villain, I'm a father. Money go get it, I ain't never been a quitter. Had to be the breadwinner for my sons and my daughter. Nigga real fat, blue eyes turn the corner. I can take a bitch if I want it. Take it down, send her back in the morning. Purple kush, purple drink like Bonnie. Black op shit, got gun like Army. Bulletproof vest, cause nigga wanna harm me. No conversation, he ain't talking about money. I die about mine, never take nothing from me. State to state, moving weight, we're running. Post there, get both by the 100. No consignment, no deal, no front. Camera on it, but man, stun. Bitch, stop capping, ain't talking about nothing. Jacking out the chair on the time, hit your bust it. Look with the pussy, but you never gotta touch it. Came down the middle, but you had to make a bust it. How you getting money for the flight in your budget? All the player talk, so you know you need to cut it. Sir, you know you need to cut this shit. All the player talk, so you know you need to cut it. Throwing checkers start crying in public. You a bitch. Need a dick so a bitch cannot suck. You a bitch. You need to be saying you disgusting. You a bitch. Bitch, you a lame, you a dust. You a bitch. Why you stay sweaty? You must. You a bitch. You ain't from the street, you a pussy. Oh, need a dick ass nigga. I can take a bitch if I want. Dick her down, send her back in the morning. Purple kush, purple drink like Bonnie. Black op shit, got gun like the Army. Bulletproof vest, case a nigga wanna harm me. No conversation, you ain't talking about the money. I die about mine, never take nothing from it. I die about mine, never take nothing from it. I can take a bitch if I want her. Dick her down, send her back in the morning. Purple kush, purple drink like Bonnie. Black op shit, got gun like the Army. Bulletproof vest, case a nigga wanna harm me. No conversation, you ain't talking about money. I die about mine, never take nothing from it. I die about mine, never take nothing from it.
Hey, no, that's not cool though. That's not cool. You wanna take me a ride, man? Put in my motherfucking head, cause I can't believe a motherfucker I really cared about, I really loved you at one point, G. Like low key. Like, come on now. Like low key, G. You think it was cool for your friend to get up there and expose everything you told him about me? That wasn't cool. You know that wasn't cool for real. That wasn't what's up. That wasn't what's up. That shit triggered the fuck out of me because that was wacky. You know it was wacky. Fuck my kid. You know that shit was wacky. Let me take me a drive, G. This shit getting out of hand, G. This shit getting out of hand to fight somebody else fight. Especially about people we talked about their commentary and their style of how they do people. You laying me out. You feed me to the wolves for what? You feed me to the wolves for what? What you feeding me to the wolves for, Shiv? For what? For what?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Am I on this motherfucker? I don't see my icon. I'm assuming I'm on here. Can y'all hear me? A yes or a no? That was a. If y'all can, I need to. Y'all, can y'all hear me? Wait a damn minute. I'm on the stage. I just don't see my icon for some fucking reason. Okay, I'm here. Great fucking game. Great game. I called it. I said it's gonna be close. If I do lose, it's gonna be by a point. Ended up winning by a point. And I said I believed in the light-skinned nigga. Halliburton. Halliburton crushed the Knicks' dream game, won when they was up by 20, and the ball bounced off the rim, went straight up and fell back in, went to overtime. He did it. He's done it this whole playoffs. He did he had a buzzer beater against the Milwaukee Bucks. He had a buzzer beater against the Knicks, and he just hit a buzzer beater in the goddamn finals. He's done it every round. Light-skinned nigga is shooting that bitch. They was down by 8 with under a minute, and I was like, I was frustrated. I started setting up my live, listening to John Frank. I come back, they down 1, and then the Thunder missed. I said, wait, they got the last shot down there? The young nigga just went down, did what he did. I'm glad he didn't take a 3, because the first game he tried to take a 3 to win it, but luckily he hit the 2 in the tie. All he needed was the 2 or 3. But yeah, great fucking game. Now, game 2, I don't know if I'm willing to go with the Pacers the whole series or even game 2. Because, yeah, if the Thunder play like they did again tonight, Indiana can't keep coming back from 20-point leads. At some point, you're not going to be able to sustain and recover. What do you mean, blah, blah? It's a good game. I'm not rubbing it in. I'm not a fan of the Thunder or the fucking Pacers. I probably picked the Pacers because if y'all remember, I was very, very disappointed when the Thunder swept my goddamn Grizzlies. I was very, very disappointed. Yes, I went to see them lose game 4. So, yeah, there's that. But now, I don't care for either team. I've been watching the postseason, and y'all heard me say, I believe in that light-skinned nigga. I said the light-skinned niggas have been taking over the league. OKC got a team full of darkies. I'm team darky, but recently here in this basketball, these last couple years, the light-skinned niggas been winning. The light-skinned nigga took on, and what's crazy about Halliburton, the light-skinned nigga that won the game tonight, all game he was passive. He wasn't trying to score. He was getting his team involved, which was a good idea because all the motherfuckers started just hitting threes down the stretch. These motherfuckers was banking shots off the backboard. And I'm like, okay, but y'all still down 12. But they kept shooting them bitches. Again, I got frustrated at one point because I'm like, son of a bitch, these motherfuckers down 11. It's 3 minutes left. I done lost. That's what I said. I started setting my live up, about to be all disappointed and shit. Came back in there. They was down 1, and I got to witness the last shot. It was a great fucking game. Couldn't ask for a better. You couldn't ask for a better game. You could ask for a different result if you were a Thunder fan, but that was a great fucking game. Because even the Thunder, I think if the Thunder would have had 1 more tenth of a second left, they probably would have been able to get off a decent shot. But with 3/10 of a second left, you can't do nothing but go for an alley-oop. 4/10, 5/10 of a second, you can actually get a shot off. I take my L. It was a good game, though, wasn't it, K-Shield? That shit was how I called it. And I guess I called it like that because I witnessed this nigga do it at least 3 times this postseason. Number 0. The nigga is just, he just one of them, he just one of them light-skinned niggas that believe he the GOAT. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but the confidence allows him to take and make big shots, especially this postseason. He did the exact same thing to the Knicks. Game 1. And they kind of took the soul out of the Knicks. Now, the Thunder ain't the Knicks. The Thunder got a deep-ass bench. Like, these folks really got 15 players who could possibly be starters. They just are fucking deep, and they don't stop coming at you. But so do the Pacers. The Pacers are deep too. The Thunder are younger, but both of them niggas, they can run all day and they don't give up. Neither one of the teams will lay down. Because if the Pacers get OKC down 20, I'm pretty confident OKC will break their bitch down and have a chance to win the game in the 4th quarter. But all right, getting started. I seen this interesting clip, and they got me in the first 10 seconds because they was arguing about Diddy. Now, it's this albino-looking white man, not Pierce Morgan. Pierce Morgan is albino-looking white man, some angry black woman who's yelling at everybody on the panel because they don't agree with her, like Truth. And then you got the white guy from Law and Crime who be doing the updates and shit, the Weber, some dude. I honestly, I don't know who to pick to win the finals. I was just good for game 1 because I felt like the Pacers was just gonna do some magical shit, which is what they did. It goes with their storyline that they've been having this postseason, but OKC got their own little storyline too. They haven't lost 2 games in a row at all this playoffs here. The first round, they swept us. And I want to say they lost 1 game in the second round matchup. I think they lost 1 game. So they haven't lost 2 games in a row. So you know what? I'm picking OKC game 2. That's my game 2 pick, OKC. They're going to bounce back. They're going to come out high energy just like they did tonight because they came out whooping ass. Now, I'm going to say that all the energy that the Pacers used tonight to come back is going to bite them in the ass because I think they play again. What's today? Thursday? I think they play again Saturday. They may give them 3 days off, but I think they play again Saturday. They're gonna be tired, and they on the road, and they probably out popping bottles, celebrating and shit. So yeah, I got OKC game 2. Book it. But yeah, let's listen to these people argue, and then I'll pull up the tweets. Because I think this video was 5 hours ago, but I noticed they did this albino looking ass nigga just from the opening clip. I said, yeah, he sound like what the fuck I've been saying the past couple of days.
With our expert panel, first with the very latest is Jesse Weber, the attorney, law and crime network anchor and News Nation contributor. Jesse, good to talk to you again. You are an expert in all things ongoing with this trial. Where are we, do you think, with it? And what have been the most significant developments in the last few days?
So, Piers, I would say the last time I spoke to you, I said I wasn't sure whether or not the prosecution was going to be able to prove racketeering or sex trafficking. I think they have gone above and beyond that. I mean, let's just even talk about what happened yesterday. So in order to prove racketeering, this criminal enterprise that Sean Combs led, prosecutors have to say there was a pattern of criminal activity, and they have to prove at least 2 underlying crimes. There's kidnapping, there's forced labor, there's arson, there's sex trafficking, bribery. Yesterday, Eddie Garcia, a former security officer at the Intercontinental Hotel where Sean Combs appeared to beat Cassandra Ventura on tape, which in and of itself is important evidence for sex trafficking, says that Combs paid him $100,000 for the footage. And it was interesting because before he took the stand, he wanted to plead the fifth, a right against self-incrimination. He was granted immunity. And I said, why would he want that? Well, not only does he say he takes the money and then splits it with 2 others, he didn't report it on his taxes, didn't put it in a bank account, allegedly lied to investigators in June of 2024. This is not somebody who has anything to gain by testifying, and clearly added a bit of credibility. So if the prosecution is looking at proving bribery for racketeering, it seems like they got it. Last week, Kid Cudi, or the week before, Kid Cudi testified about his car being blown up by Sean Combs. That's arson. An assistant testified that she was kidnapped by Sean Combs at gunpoint. That's kidnapping. Cassie Ventura, that was all about the sex trafficking counts. And I think the prosecution is really selling the idea not only that Sean Combs was essentially this mafia figure, but that he was using the company's resources and his staff to facilitate and cover up a pattern of crimes. They have been very deliberate in every witness that they've called.
Is Sean Combs likely to testify?
No. Let me tell you this. First of all, we all know that him taking the stand and being subjected to cross-examination by the prosecutors is going to be quite problematic for him. But you also have to wonder what his judgment is. Look, in the United States, it's his decision and his decision alone to testify. But he's the same guy who thought it was a good idea 2 days after CNN published that footage of him back in 2016 to release an Instagram video apologizing for it. So he basically forfeited any right to say that that video wasn't him or it was manipulated. He admitted it. So if that's the judgment of this criminal defendant, I don't think him getting on the stand will do any good. Even though the defense has been saying this is all domestic violence, I think their best avenue is to strike at the credibility of these witnesses. They've been doing a very good job at that and trying to say, even if this is a violent series of episodes, it's not sex trafficking, it's not racketeering, it doesn't meet those elements. Those are where they need to go. That's where they need to go.
And in relation to Cassie Ventura's testimony, a lot of debate about, I saw Bill Maher did a big piece about this, and I interviewed the Punisher who came forward, and he certainly was of the belief that what was going on was very consensual. And in fact, Cassie Ventura had been the one that liaised with him over payment and times and locations and so on. This all goes to this general argument of whether she was coerced by Sean. Has the prosecution won that debate, do you think, in the eyes of the jury, that it's been established it was coercion, or is there wriggle room there for Sean Combs?
No, it definitely hasn't been decided, and it's difficult to know what the jury might be thinking, but they have been doing an exceptional job at raising that in cross-examination of Cassie and also Mia. So Mia was a former assistant who says that Sean Combs sexually assaulted her multiple times, and yet they confronted her with many social media posts and text messages where she's praising Sean Combs, that she even wanted to work for him. There were messages with Cassie where she was appearing to set up these freak-offs and encouraging these freak-offs. But then you remember the testimony of Dr. Dawn Hughes, a forensic psychologist, who said this is a lot more complicated. It may appear that victims are behaving in a way that's inconsistent with being abused, but not so fast. There's a lot of complicated issues of trauma bonding, financial control. Sometimes victims won't even recognize they are victims until years later with trauma. So it's not an easy analysis. It's not an easy discussion. But I will tell you, his defense team, which are doing a fantastic job, they're great lawyers, they're raising that kind of reasonable doubt because they're saying everything was consensual. They were willing participants. It may have been ugly. It may have been different. He may have been violent. It may have been domestic violence, but that is not what this federal case is about. So I imagine that when this goes to the jury, you are going to be seeing a long deliberation process, basically about whether or not these witnesses are credible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the problem for Sean Combs will be the jury, when they see the video repeatedly of him attacking her in that hotel corridor. It's so awful. And it goes right to the heart of his character. This is a man who will beat up a woman in a hotel corridor. You know, if I was on a jury seeing that, it'd be very hard to get that out of my head in terms of a man who has a violent hold over a woman he may be with.
So there are two things to that, right? The jurors are human beings, and there's always been an argument, no matter what evidence is presented to them, are they going to convict him? Because after 8 weeks, they really, really don't like this guy and they want to punish him some way. They're not supposed to do that. The other way of looking at it, and I was thinking about it today, we're about to hear the testimony of Jane. So Jane is alleged victim number 2. She makes up her own individual sex trafficking count. She helps with the racketeering charge. I went back to the opening statement, and they basically say that Sean Combs was violent with her on multiple episodes. And I said, how do we know if that's true? You go back to the 2016 video. That 2016 video arguably corroborates every one of these alleged violent episodes that you've been hearing from. I said it to you before, I'll say it to you again. You know, when Cassie Ventura came out with her lawsuit and these allegations that blew all of our minds, we said, how do we know if this is true? Everything changed when CNN published that video because we saw Sean Combs in a light that we had never seen before. And honestly, during the course of this trial, what we're learning, these allegations, if they're true, this is definitely a different guy than we all knew him in the public.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot like I will every time until this is over, Jesse. Is he going to walk or is he going down?
Again, I think that he has a very difficult road to be found not guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution, up to 10 years in prison, transporting victims and sex workers just for prostitution, for sex work. I think they've done that. Sex trafficking, there are 2 key events in Cassie's account that I think prove that, the 2016 hotel tape and also a plane incident where she claims she was shown videos of freak-offs by him and then was forced to engage in one afterwards. I think that goes to threats. So I think they might convict him of sex trafficking with Cassie. I don't know about Jane. We'll have to see her testimony. And racketeering, I would say they're probably 75% there. I think we need to learn a little bit more about the resources, the money flow, whether or not there was a criminal agreement with his staff to further criminal activity. One of the things we're looking for is whether or not his former chief of staff will testify. I see the building blocks. I don't know if they've quite got a conviction yet for racketeering. Jesse Weber, brilliant stuff, as always. Thank you very much. If you've ever felt like you're being watched online, it's unfortunately because you are. Hundreds of companies through secure servers. No data brokers. Now, on with the show. Could Diddy sensationally walk free after one of the most high-profile downfalls in showbiz history? To debate this, I'm joined by Matthew Fletcher, the former lawyer of Suge Knight, and Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, attorney for a recent Diddy accuser. Well, welcome to both of you. Matthew, we've spoken several times about this case. Let me just ask you, there's a growing kind of sentiment I'm picking up on from people who are following this, perhaps who know Diddy, who know the music scene, who know the characters involved here, that this is heading from being a sort of open slam dunk shut case for the feds to potentially a sensational acquittal. What is your view of where we are with this?
It can go either way. Good morning, by the way. Here's my position. Without question, they've not proven that there's been any corporation organization that was organized for the purposes of satisfying P. Diddy's sexual needs. Bad Boy Enterprises was formed, I think, in 1998. And the government's alleging that this RICO statute covers those actions of finding Bad Boy Productions. So I think it has like 50 or 60 platinum albums before Cassie even came on the scene. I think that's a horrible failure by them. I don't know if he's walking on everything, but I can tell you I have real issues with the RICO part of this because it's silly to think that when he founded Sean John Jeans, he was really doing that with the knowledge that someday in the future he would meet Cassandra Ventura, and then lure her into a life of voyeurism and swinging and all of the things that went on it. Understanding that right now the jeopardy he faces is based upon the horrendous conduct of what he did to that woman in that video. There's no other evidence other than Cassie in this case. And everyone can sit there and wring their hands and say, oh, you know, poor Cassie, and I agree. What he did was horribly wrong. But Cassie also has opened herself up to a little bit of criticism when she says, it's not about the money, but I want $10 million from the Intercontinental Motel, which starts to make it seem like it's about the money. And as these horrific images of the video kind of become not as hot as they were before. You start looking at facts and you go, wait a minute. He was in charge of her, yet she was cheating with Kid Cudi, who was his former employee. She was cheating with his former trainer. She had her own apartment. She had her own money. And with 8 men on the jury, this case might have been one of jury selection, because I'm telling you, from the people I've listened to and the many of the different people who've spoken about this, I think there's some issues about whether or not this is a proper case for a RICO charge. Start to wondering if the only witness you have and the only charges you have is that he beat up that woman, which he certainly did. But I'm going to tell you one thing, the defense is certainly going to tell the jury, please convict my client of every single charge of domestic violence there is, every one of them, because there are no charges of domestic violence. And so when people start thinking he's going to walk, it's not because he's a great guy. I'm not saying he's a great guy. I've said very clearly he's a piece of bleepity bleep. But that's not what RICO statute was meant for, that someone can say 12, 13 years later that I want you to pay me $30 million. And I'll make this point very quickly. If this case was so strong, it meant that there was a crime before November of 2023. Yet before November of 2023, Puff Daddy wasn't accused of any crime until Cassie's people said, I need you to pay me $20 million or I'm putting this book out. When they didn't put the book out, and all of a sudden the government says, aha, you've been committing crimes for 12, 13, 14, whatever number of years. As the jurors sit there, they think about that. That's kind of a chilling idea that it's not a crime until you don't pay me money. And so I think the reason that Ray J and Suge have that opinion is because that's kind of the upswelling of opinion on the talk shows and talking to people around here.
Okay, fascinating. Ariel Mitchell-Kidd, you said, was an attorney for a recent Diddy accuser. I did a sort of straw poll with my team today, which was split male-female. And I was struck that most of the women thought there was a good chance he may be acquitted, not because he's anything but a loathsome individual who clearly beats up women. And we all saw that with our own eyes from this horrific video. But that is not part of what he's on trial for. And I think as Matthew's talking to the jury, and they a distraction that the eyes are taken away from that because they have to by law, and they're left with just what he's been charged with. At the moment, it doesn't look like this is quite the slam dunk case that everybody assumed it would be. In other words, have the feds just overreached here, do you think? It's not to say, like I say, that he's not a bad person or a woman abuser, but is he guilty of these charges? Is there enough that we've seen to justify the scale of the charges?
So first, hi, Paris. Nice to see you again. I dropped the kid. I'm only Ariel Mitchell now. So just moving forward, I'm
my apologies for misnaming you, which is the social crime of our age. I will rephrase that. Ariel Mitchell, please, over to you.
No worries. So I find it very interesting how propaganda works. And I'm watching propaganda occur in real time, because there's no way that anybody who is really following the case, who's really reading the transcripts that are coming out from the testimony, who cannot, or how do I say this? Most people don't understand what the proof or the burden of proof that the prosecution has to reach in a case like this. RICO has things attached to it called overt acts. So there are certain things, for example, that they have to address. So they have to address in the RICO. So there are certain parts of the RICO and the elements that they have to reach in order to be successful at trial. If anybody is to read the transcripts, which are very long, instead of just reading headlines, they would see very clearly that the prosecution is doing an amazing job, a magnificent job, in my opinion.
So explain exactly
every
why.
Testimony.
Give me some examples of why you think that.
So you got predicated acts, right? So there are certain acts that are enumerated in the U.S. Code regarding RICO claims. So the RICO claims is codified in U.S. Code, and then there's predicated overt acts that you have to do in order to further the RICO. So there are things like fraud, wire fraud, mail fraud, other things, sex trafficking, drug trafficking. All of these are part of, you only need one of these things to have in a RICO. So get out these things. What was the fraud? What was the coercion? What was the trafficking, be it sex, drugs, or otherwise? They are doing a good job of punching each one of those elements with every testimony. And it's the lineup. People haven't even paid attention to how masterful the lineup is that the prosecution and AUSAs have put on from the start of the trial with I believe it was the first male sex worker, and then they went directly to Cassie. And Cassie's testimony has pretty much set up the testimony from everybody else who's come after her, and it set up the majority of the elements that was needed for the RICO claims. Now, the only problem I see with this, the AUSAs right now is that they kind of are doing overkill, in my opinion. I think they've already met their burden. I believe they already met all of the elements to succeed on a RICO. And you hear, and I'll tell you first, like I've said this whole time, back in July of 2024, I said Mr. Combs was going to get arrested and indicted, and I was correct. When he did get arrested and indicted, I said that he would not ever receive bond, and he did not. And I'm here to tell you today he will be convicted on a RICO charge.
Studies show that strength training burns more fat than cardio alone and is critical for maintaining muscle mass and bone density as we age. Jacked Up Fitness has the perfect tool for jacked up full and convenient. We've teamed up to give you that's getjackedup.com. Well, Matthew, back to you. Pretty emphatic contra view there. What's your response?
Well, I appreciate the passion. I do. But he's charged under the White Slave Trafficking Act, which requires that he paid somebody to come out here to have sex. I haven't heard anyone testify or read in any transcript himself paid anyone. Have you heard that, Pierce? I've not heard that anyone of these people
we had this character called the Punisher on, who was a male prostitute, and he was actually a very eloquent guy to interview. And he made it crystal clear that over an 18-month period, it was Cassie that did all the negotiating with him and facilitated all the payments. And in fact, Diddy was a kind of bit part player sitting naked in the corner watching the Punisher having sex with Cassie, who had arranged everything. So I can still see how that could be construed by a skillful lawyer as a form of coercion. But as Bill Maher said at the end, at the end of his show on Friday, when you have somebody like Cassie Ventura and she's talking about her love of freak-offs and can't wait to do them, it is hard, I would imagine, to sit in the jury and think, why would she say that if she didn't actually enjoy them?
And that's the big difference between, we can talk about...
Well, quickly, Ariel, quickly, and I'll come back to Matthew on that point.
Yeah, sure. I think the problem here with the question you just asked was the understanding of what being a woman in love with a man would do. So I think a lot of this is being, of course.
But you have, well, okay, but let me be direct, Ariel. Let me be direct to you. Let me be direct.
Sure.
I don't know anything about your life. I don't know if you're married, not married, in a relationship with whoever. But let me just ask you, would you arrange for somebody whose name is the Punisher to come and have sex with your partner for money?
If my man was a billionaire who had the influence, the reach, the power of someone like P. Diddy, and he not only is my man, but he is my boss, and he has my life in his hand. And that's what he told me he was into. And that's what he told me he needed from me. How do I not do that? Whether or not I like it or don't like it, what choice do I have?
Well,
what choice? Seriously, let's talk about it. What choice does she have? I know a ton of people who tried to go away from Diddy, who tried to leave him, we'll call it, and they were not successful. He blackballed them, he hurt them, he tried to kill them. I mean,
motherfucker, the choice you have is the choice you eventually ended up doing. You left the nigga, you got married, you told somebody. That's the choice. You stayed around all them years and you didn't drop another album. So your job, so all of that is worth the job. What you saying is women will put up with it for money. It was her man and he was her boyfriend. It was her man and her boss. That's what you saying. And she wanted the money and the fame, I guess, so much she stayed and did something that she didn't want to do. All right, fine.
I mean, it's... I think the thought process of why people are being dense, like they don't understand why she would have done that, being in the position that she was in.
So the Punisher told me that she actively enjoyed it. Hang on, it was actually a longer period. It was over a 2-year period, and they met up to a dozen times. Good time.
And
according to him, did he know whether or not she was drugged? Yeah, I mean, we all know she was not herself. We all know.
Ma'am, Miss Mary Ann, y'all don't use that as an excuse when a motherfucker accomplishes something. When a 19-year-old accomplishes something, nobody ever says, oh, she's 19. She's dumb. There's 19-year-olds that have master's degrees. No one would ever say they was taking, what is shit, her 19, you know whether you want to fuck multiple niggas or not. 19, you could go to the military. You could do a whole bunch of shit at 19. It's just an excuse when women want to not take accountability. Oh, I was young. We were all young. If we didn't want to do some shit at a young age, I don't give a fuck how. Oh, I was 20 dating a 35-year-old. She couldn't make me do shit I didn't want to do, and I was young. Nor would I ever say she was grooming me. This soft-ass era we in.
Pretty good time. Over 12 months. They met a dozen times. I'm sorry. I think it was over.
What does their age, what does them being of legal age have to do with anything? Are you just stressing the fact that they're legal? Because again, it's 19-year-olds that run their own businesses and stuff. It's 19-year-old millionaires. What does the age have to do with anything? Because again, if they're young and they've accomplished something, nobody says anything. Bow Wow was young too when he got signed. You don't hear no stories of him out here saying he was forced to do some shit he didn't want to do.
Hang on. It was actually a longer. It was actually a longer period. Like it was over a 2-year period, and they met up to a dozen times. And she was always, according to him, having a perfectly good time.
And
according to him, did he know whether or not she was drugged? Yeah, I mean, we all know she was not herself.
According to y'all, women mature faster than men.
All right, let me bring Matthew in.
And I think for him to say, go ahead.
Okay, Matthew. So
here's the mistake here's the mistake everyone keeps making. That woman who took the stand this month is not the woman we're talking about from 13 years ago. She may be a perfectly spectacular mother, wife, significant other today. The charges go back as whether or not she was calling men up who are the punisher and say, come over and do what you do, and then paying them. And the correct response, if someone says, hey, I would really like to do A, B, and C, you say, no, thank you. I don't want to have someone do A, B, and C.
She asked my nigga, did he want to finish?
B, and C.
The first time, he like, no.
Defended or should have been without question. You cannot say that when someone sets up a freak off when Diddy's not even there in between screwing his trainer and his other employee that she's hopelessly helpless in this entire scenario. And you have 8 people on that jury who have unfortunately been through or know someone who's had someone who's cheated on them repeatedly. And every part of this case is based upon whether or not Cassie is credible and believable. And one thing the defense is going to say, we're not talking about this wonderful, talented, pregnant woman here. We're talking about the woman who, as Piers points out, called the Punisher to come back over and over and over and over and over and over and over again over a period of years. That's rather difficult to believe.
Oh,
that this
while
is a person
she was in a relationship with Diddy. Like, are we going to keep glossing over the fact you guys act like Cassie was doing this on her own?
Okay, as Bill Maher said, at some point in time, you have to take responsibility for your life.
It's just not her man, though. But it's just not her man, though. It's just not her man, though.
First of all,
it is her boss.
let's be clear.
It is the man who is in control of her life. So to just quantify it in such a way where it's just her man, that is incorrect.
You know what's fascinating?
We got content. Pierce was like, he was finna let them niggas fight for a minute. He was like, I'm finna just let this shit unfold. But then he was like, nah. They cooking though. It's his boyfriend. Ma'am. Why won't you just simply say she didn't want to go back to the Cassie she was before she became a millionaire? Whatever the fuck she was doing before he found the Me and You, because the Me and You song had already been out, but apparently it wasn't doing nothing. So he heard it and he put his own little spin to the song. But she apparently didn't want to go back to that life. She didn't always have money and all of the fame and the fashion and shit. She was just a normal girl. She could have always just been like, you know what? There's several people in Hollywood that have went out there and was like, I ain't cut out for this shit, and they quit. It's all about who the fuck you are. So she was willing to go through that shit for the money at the time.
Talented pregnant woman here.
And all this, he's Diddy. He was Diddy back then. The FBI was who they were back then. All of this shit could have been reported back then, just like they hurried up and took Cassie seriously. Why wouldn't they have done it back then? But everybody said, oh, Diddy got such good reach. If Diddy had such good reach and was so unfucking touchable, he wouldn't be on trial right now. He on trial right now, and a police report was never filed when he did all of this shit. This nigga is on trial because a lawsuit came out. He settled the lawsuit. Next thing you know, tape pop up. Now he's indicted. Now he's on trial. So you mean to tell me now one of these victims from back in the day could have called the police, the FBI, the highway patrol, the what state trooper? They couldn't call none of them. Because Puff Daddy got his hand in everybody's pocket in every state. Yet he's on trial today.
We're talking about the woman who, as Piers points out, called the Punisher to come back over and over and over and over and over and over and over again over a period.
Oh my goodness. All that shit there. I said all this shit. I was saying, Mary Ann, I said, who are all the other people that you're saying he got tapes on? Because I don't know what trial you've been watching, but there have been no women other than Diddy that said he had tapes on Cassie. And then I went on to say, in this video with Cassie, it was just her having sex with another man. It wasn't like it was 2-3 dudes training her. It wasn't like Puff Daddy was in the video fucking her while the other dude was fucking her. It just would have been her having sex with one other person. It would have been a Cassie sex tape leaked. The worst would have been said was she cheated on Diddy, but people were saying that anyway when she was dealing with Kid Cudi and her trainer. And the Michael B. Jordan situation that came up. So what would she have been embarrassed of if the tape came out? Just exactly. And if you don't want to be embarrassed, don't record it. because they never said all of their freak offs were recorded. Not all of them, some of them, but not all of them were recorded. But yeah, there is no other people that he got tapes on. If you talking about folks from Diddy parties and stuff, see the court doesn't talk about Diddy parties. This trial talks about his sexual encounters with his girlfriend, not know what these people out here talking about going on at Hollywood mansion parties and gay swingers and him having a whole bunch of dirt on gay men and celebrities. Ain't none of that shit come up at trial. It's just a bunch of niggas on the internet making up shit because they ain't got nothing else better to do.
Period of years. That's rather difficult to believe.
Oh, while she was in a relationship with Diddy. Like,
Mary Ann, you got more excuses than me and Jim.
Doing this on her own.
Okay, as Bill Maher said,
just not her man, though. It's just not her man, though.
First of all, be clear.
It is the man who is in control of her life. So to just quantify it in such a way where it's just her man, that is incorrect.
You know what's fascinating? You know what's fascinating about this is actually the way you both blew up there. It's actually the crux of this whole case. It's whether the jury is going to be viewing it, and many people I know are viewing it, or whether they're going to view it, Ariel, as you're viewing it, and many people I know share your view. And it is split. You know, I know so many people who believe he's got a chance of walking despite being despicable and a woman abuser because they haven't proved their case and because it looks like she was consensually agreeing to all this stuff. And there are other people who agree with you, Ariel.
No, greed held them like a coercion by somebody. It wasn't shame. They weren't ashamed of the shit when they were doing it.
A boss.
The first time he brought her the idea of a freak off, she could have said
or agree with Ariel about what Cassie Ventura
and the message,
and that might be unfair. It might be wrong.
No more.
And I thought, wow, really? 2 eating hotels?
You can read me like
all the transactional stuff.
And then she said she backtracked it.
You're really enjoying herself?
He didn't pressure her into it. She
I'm on that jury. I'm finding that quite difficult.
She had to get out of jail. She didn't want.
Here's what I say for this private.
And she admitted that the reason that she did them is because she didn't want him to do it with someone else. That's a far cry from he forced me to do it. Portion, I just felt that I found that argument interesting because I've been saying I don't see the whole Rico thing. Now, will he be fully acquitted? I don't know. It could be. He could get fully acquitted like OJ. Because they've just proved he's a despicable person. And I did not know that it's 8 men on the it's 8 men on the damn panel on the jury. And men have seen the Me Too movement, the ups and downs. We've seen the more false stories than true ones, so that's gonna play into their mind too, especially when most of these motherfuckers have civil lawsuits against them or have already had lawsuits settled and things of that nature with them. None of these people called the police, but they did call an attorney 15 years later. All right, let me drink some water before I start reading these tweets. And where are we in terms of time? My browser lost connection to my screen share audio, which is fine because it ain't no audio. All righty, let's see here. For the jury, I understand the press is doing their best with the orders. What about Jane's ticks? I feel I need to personally read them before releasing them to the press. How about Saturday for Friday's exhibits? Don't kill yourself. The reporter Reporters are not officers of the court, and they won't know what has to not be reported. That's why I don't think there's a real constitutional issue here. Inner City Press disagrees. Oh, he disagreeing with Comey. This is the same fucking document. The type of information that Miss Comey wants to redact, is it just a matter of timing? Should we adjourn for the day to permit redaction? No, I reject it. The First Amendment does not require that. The government is making accommodations. We want a screenshot of Miss Ventura's communications to Miss Karam about Miss Bonglin being dangled off the balcony. How does the balcony connect to the indictment? It shows Mr. Combs' violence and that Miss Ventura is aware. Coercion. It should not be admitted. It is a backward-looking statement. The screenshot was captured in September 2016, shortly after the incident. It doesn't say how Miss Ventura heard about it. Could have been from someone else. Bring in Miss Bonglin, then the jury. All rise. Jurors, we have a lunch coming in for you. We're going to take a shorter break. Miss Westmoreland? Westmoreland. What is this a photo of? Drugs. You sent this photo to Cassie? Yes. Now, DX1287. What's this? Some type of drugs. How many types? I can't tell. You're still doing drugs with Cassie on May 31st, 2016, right? Yes. Just before this, Mr. Combs threatened your life? Yes. You weren't scared to continue dealing with Cassie? I guess not. Okay, you said Mr. Combs groped your breast? Objection. Ask again. Mr. Tyrone said Mr. Combs groped your breast. True? Some of the things he wrote were not true. You fired him and hired new civil lawyers, and they drafted a lawsuit. You reviewed it? To the best of my ability. Look at this document, only for the parties. Ma'am, isn't it true that your lawyer, Mr. Tyrone, alleged for the first time sexual assault, and although you knew it was untrue, you began repeating it? Can you rephrase that? Mr. Tyrone alleged that Mr. Combs sexually assaulted you, right? I can't speak for him. You speak for you. You kept repeating the lie about the grabbing your breast. Can you restate it? Okay. You continued accusing Mr. Combs of sexually assaulting you, even though you knew it was not true. It's really hard to commit to the whole sentence. You knew sexual assault was the only way you could sue. I don't recall. Bitch, you don't recall. You recall? How the hell you recall? I'm just saying, it's crazy the shit you can recall, Lil Woody. Lil Woody done started a goddamn epidemic of niggas saying, I don't recall in court. When have you ever heard this? You say you were screaming. Are you aware of anyone else calling the police? I don't think so. You didn't go to an urgent care? I didn't. You didn't tell the chiropractor what happened? No. Why not? I was scared. Okay. The girlfriend, what's her name? Sarah or Friday? Full name, please. I think Sarah Seidel. Something like that. It was a while ago. You told the government she was Friday and that she wouldn't know anything. I'm not sure. On October 4th, 2016, didn't you attend Mr. Combs' concert? Wait a minute. Your ex-girlfriend was supposedly in the bathroom, or you took her to the bathroom. She wouldn't have known that you were just dangled from the balcony and you weren't hysterical. She wouldn't have asked you what was wrong. Why y'all hiding in the bathroom? You're not sure about that, but you remember, this shit is crazy. As bruh said, like all these people credibility is fucked up. They recall what they want to. This lady here couldn't even remember shit she told the government 2 days ago, but she going all the way back to 2016 recalling shit. Didn't you attend Mr. Combs' concert? I don't remember the date, but yes, I went. Just ask Miss Westmoreland. Maybe read the text, proceed. You read Bonner, and I'll read Cass. I don't know what I wrote. Coolio, what time? Love you. Thank you for yesterday. You're asking Cass if Puff would like a sweatshirt 2 weeks after you allege he held you over a balcony. We were trying to be cool. Repeat that. We had the FaceTime call and we were trying to be cool. The nigga tried to kill you and you want to buy him a sweatshirt. Isn't it true that you continue to see Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura because Mr. Combs did not cause those injuries? Part of that statement is true, and part I can't agree with. You see your phone number on this? Yes. This text is from October 15th, 2016 from Mr. Combs to you. Yes. Mr. Combs wrote, if you're going to do K with her, at least have her back. Do you remember receiving this? Yes. You remember the Bad Boy reunion tour. You started on it but didn't complete it. Maybe one or two. September 15th, 2016. The tour was at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. True? I'm not aware, not so sure on dates. He was on stage with Lil' Kim. I don't know. And at the Harlem Salute to Achievement, objection, sidebar. Get y'all ass up here to the bench. Is this Trump International Hotel, State of Frank Black, include September 26, 2016, in-room breakfast for $231? You see? Yes. You agree one person can't be in two places at the same time. Hard to say. You told the jurors Mr. Combs injured you in LA on September 26, 2016. Correct. May we have a sidebar? Yes, you may. Like, do the judge ever say no when they ask for a sidebar? Can he be like, hell no, I'm tired of talking to you niggas? Is that within the judge's rights? I just want to know. Mr. Combs did not cause you the injuries in the photo you provided with metadata saying September 26, 2016. I can't agree with that. A person can't be in LA and New York at the same time, ma'am. My answer is the same. No further questions. Redirect, sidebar. Boy, they love these sidebars. Did you ever remove the notes taken at your interviews? No. Did you give Cassie permission to put your name in her complaint? No. After she filed, I hit her up to tell her of her mistakes. So again, you get Cassie said it happened one place in her lawsuit. And then you read it and you was like, no, bitch, it ain't happened like that. It happened here. You can recall that, but you can't recall what you did 2 years ago. You can't recall if he charged you or if he snuck up from behind. You can't recall if your ex-girlfriend was there and she knew about it because you took her to the bathroom or she was in the bathroom, but you just was normal after it happened, even though you would have had a bruise and shit on your leg. and your titty was just groped. They play it in our face, man. Tiffany wasn't there. When you filed your lawsuit, was its report of the balcony the same or different from Cassie's? Different. Is what you said today your best recollection? Yes. The demand letters of your first lawyer, did you write them? No. The demand letter that said, Mr. Combs squeezed your breast so hard you had bruises. Had you said that? No, ma'am. Do you demonstrate with hand motions, please? He started at my armpit. Were they on your breast? Yes. Oh, so Jane is 50 Cent, baby mama? Do you know the exact date of the balcony incident? No. Why not? It was a while ago. Any doubt Mr. Combs held you off the balcony? No doubt. Nothing further. Recross. Westmoreland? Fuck yeah. In a follow-up interview with the government, you gave them pictures of your leg injury with metadata, true? I gave them pictures. When you sued Mr. Combs, you weren't rich. I was not. You saw this as a chance to make $10 million, true? The judge will review. It means a lot to you to become a millionaire and soon, right? No, I'm here for justice, meaning money, nothing further. Oh, snap. That was a shrewd comment from the lawyer, meaning I'm here for justice, meaning money, nothing further. Thank you, Miss Bungling. Is there an exhibit? Publish it. We object under Rule 106. So after the break, jurors, there'll be food for you in there. All rise. So about these text message chains, these are the screenshots of messages between Miss Ventura and KK. It first involved Miss Ventura saying her phone was thrown off the balcony. Then about Miss Bungling. The defense wants more in. They want in Miss Karam's message that he says that didn't happen, but that's self-serving hearsay with no exception. The allegedly completing statement are not admissible. Mr. Agnifilio, your client was looking at jurors and nodding vigorously. This can't continue, or I will give a limiting instruction you won't like, or other measures, including barring your client from the courtroom. Do you understand? Oh shit, the judge said Diddy is nodding his head like, yeah, take that, bad boy. Take that. What's up? So yeah, Diddy and his attorneys got reprimanded for him stirring and folk and shit. That's crazy work. Wow. That's not a good look. Definitely not in the middle of the trial. They back. Judge said, I can stay past 4. My sentence has been adjourned so I can stay late. But Miss Shapiro, I have a meeting with lawyers in another matter. I want to be here for all of Jane, a key witness. We'll end it for jury entering. First, a stipulation. A seizure at Miami Airport of KK's cell phone. These are true excerpts. Publish the exhibit. Text bubbles with Cassie. Dangles over ledge. OMG. Metadata shows September 30th, 2016. Bring witness in. On the stand, Enrique Santos. I have worked at the Southern District of New York Prosecutor's Office for 17 years. I've done 3,000 cell phone extractions. These 3 iPhones, whose were they? Cassandra Ventura. One had a changed IME number. It had been repaired. If a user takes a screenshot, what is the metadata? Creation date, modified date, Modified data, where it is stored. This exhibit, is this another extraction? Yes. No further question. Some deleted messages remain? Yes. The September 30th is the capture date of the screenshot, correct? Yes. Thank you. Next witness. For some sealed exhibits under the pseudonym order and because sexually explicit 1503, at this time we call Jane. Now, as we just saw in the comment section, Jane appears to be 50 Cent baby mama. Miss Comey, please bring the witness in. Please confirm that all the exhibit screens in the public gallery are off. Courtroom deputy says they are. Will exhibits be made available by the next day? Filing still not being docketed. This nigga gonna end up suing. Jane takes the stand. Inner city press is not describing her physical appearance. Where did you grow up? California. Your level of college, junior college, then modeling. With whom did you have a relationship from 2021 to 2024? Wait a minute, 2024? So she was dating this nigga when he got charged. Sean Combs. What did you call him? Sean, baby, Ernie. Why Ernie? We did that. I was Bert. When did you meet him? On a girls' trip to Miami in 2020. He was dating my friend. He was really funny and nice. We went on a yacht party. He gave me his cell phone number. He was dating your friend. He your baby daddy up. He gave me his cell phone number. Did you see drugs? Yes, that first night. One of my friends said she wanted drugs, I guess. I don't want you to guess. Where did you go? The studio and 2-Star. A man pulled out pink powder. My girlfriend was upset. She thought I was getting with Sean, so we left abruptly. The next day, drinks by the pool, then movie night. In the theater in his residence, he texts me, I'd like to take you out. I replied that I felt complicated. Where were you living then? The East Coast. Did Mr. Combs contact you? Yes, he was flirtatious. He invited me to Miami. Read these texts not shown in the gallery. What does he say? Call me, Ernie. Who was pursuing who? He was pursuing me, but I was being considerate of my girlfriend. But she got engaged and moved overseas, so I felt I could do this Sean thing. Well, okay then. Had she been seeing Sean and her fiance at the same time? Yes. I went to Miami in January 2021. He got me a hotel room. Where did you have your first date? The hotel balcony. How long did your first date last? 5 days. What did you tell him about your past? I dated someone he knew. A 5-day first date? That's some player shit. That's rather baller. I mean, god damn. I could just imagine. That's some fly shit. So she told him she dated someone he knew. Also, my child's father didn't get along with Sean. He said he didn't mind. How many children do you have? 1. What did Sean say about his relationships? Only my friend. He said it wasn't a real relationship. What did you do? We made a lot of love. We walked on the beach. Later, we went on a proper first date. Dressed up, a restaurant. A proper first date? I thought the first date was 5 days. What the fuck? How was a 5-day first date not proper? Like anything after that would be considered basic, I would think. Dressed up, a restaurant, I was head over heels. How did you stay in contact? Test. Did you travel with them? Turks and Caicos. I was excited. I'd never been to Turks. Who else went in February 2021? KK, the chef, the butler, at one point a barber. How long did you stay? 9 days in Turks, 6 in the Bahamas. Just gone for 2 weeks. We're going to play a video, not shown in the gallery, loud music. I took the video. What do we see? The villa, the vibe. What did you tell Sean? That I was a single mother. On social media, I called myself a content creator. What was your work? Advertising brands on my social media. What did he give you? A love bracelet. He said he'd give me money because he'd taken me many days away. I really appreciate that. How much? 10,000. What drugs had you used before? Ecstasy, twice, 2014, 2015. You used it in Turks? Who suggested it? Sean, like 10 times. In the pool, he gave me a pill, said it would be more fun. I was walking down the beach with him, and I fell. I think I was screaming too. They put me in the shower. Yeah, that does help. KK did. Did you take another ecstasy pill? Yes, but a smaller dose. It made me feel relaxed, euphoric, sexual. It enhanced touch and sense. It made me feel more loving and flirtatious. What about coming down from ecstasy? It was like your mind was kind of readjusting, coming down from a high, you're just tired. In the Bahamas, did you continue taking drugs? Yes, ecstasy. Sean gave it to me. How much did he wire you? $10,000. We started using the L word. He told me he was seeing multiple women. I was okay with it. Why? I liked him. How the fuck is this? They star witness. Wait, the star witness is sitting up here saying that she liked him? What are we? So why is she testifying? What's she supposed to be testifying to? Just out of curiosity. He told me he was seeing multiple women. I was okay with it. Why? I liked him. Did you have the sense you had the option of a monogamous relationship? No. What do you mean by you had the option? Well, she definitely had the option. Because, she meant the option with him. Until when did you continue dating Sean? Until his arrest. So she stayed there with this nigga for 4 years. Any breaks? 2. The 2nd in October 2023 for 4 months. When did you get back together? February 2024. How public were you? It was private. Did you post about your relationship with Son on your social media? Only once. Where did you move? From the East Coast to LA. He gave me $6,000 for a moving trip. In 2021, February to May, how often did you see him? Every other week. What did he give you? He was sweet. He would give me money here and there. Cash, wires, both. How often did you use drugs? Every time I saw Sean, ecstasy, Molly, cocaine, K or ketamine, Molly enhanced like ecstasy, sexual, horny, cocaine. It made me feel alert. I didn't like the K. The walls were closing in. In what context did Sean give you drugs? When we were having sex. What did you learn? So many things. How he liked to have pornography playing. He liked me in lingerie and with high-end stripper shoes. So that's whose shoes was in the closet that they had brought out that day. They was hers. That was Jane's. We're going to know her name by the end of this. It's 50 Cent baby mama. And with high-end stripper shoes, I was to put baby oil all over my body and his. What type of rooms? In his bedroom. How was it lit? We'd have red lights on. How did you feel? I loved them. May of 2021, what happened? I remember that when we would watch pornography, we would have a lot more fantasy conversation. Do you need a break? She's like, hell no. I don't need no break. No, we would search things on the website. He wanted me to fantasize. In May of 2025 was their objection. Oh, May of 2021. I'm so sorry. Where were you watching the pornography? Well, she said Mia. Oh, Miami. I had been awake for 15 hours or 24. What drugs? Ecstasy and Molly. He said, I can make it happen. Why did you say okay? I thought I was playing into the fantasy, but when I came out of the bathroom, he was staring into his phone, really serious. He said, it can happen tonight. How did you react? I was like, tonight? Tonight then, all right. We were in a hotel. I saw the assistant setting up the room. The lights were already red. Do you remember which assistant? I don't. He said, there's something coming. He knows the guy. I was super nervous listening in. Who did you think this guy was? The fantasy guy. What did you think would start happening? Sexual things between me and the fantasy guy. He arrives and they're talking. It was a regular hotel room or a suite. The defense should have objected to that and said, come on, it's my fucking client. He ain't doing no regular hotel rooms. What did you do? I said hello to everyone. I saw Dunn. Who is Dunn? One of the entertainers. Published the photo to the jury, not shown in gallery. No personal information on it, presumably. Jewels was shown in the bookseller. What next? I was on the couch with my robe on. My legs were crossed. I was nervous. What happened next? Sean said to stand up. I did and started to dance to get my nerve up. What was Dunn wearing? His underwear. What was Sean doing? Touching himself. Was he masturbating? Yes. Was he talking? What was he saying? Being encouraging and sweet. I was ready to speed things up a bit. What do you mean? Get it done with a sob. But you stayed with the nigga for 4 more years. And assistant attorney, the lady said that she did it because she liked him and she wanted to try the fantasy. And then she wanted to speed it up. He was being encouraging and sweet, not mean and forcing her to do nothing. It was encouraging and sweet. And she wanted to speed it up instead of losing her nerve and being like, I can't go through with this shit. She wanted to get the shit done. When she could have just been like, I changed my mind. What did you ask for? A condom. What did Sean say? That these guys get tested all the time. Later, did Dunn leave? Yes. Then Sean and I made love. The next day I went home. Any boat trip? A nice yacht day. How did you feel? I felt exhilarated. It was taboo. I had a good time with my partner. What the fuck? How is this a great witness? I am confused. Can somebody tell me how this witness here is proving the government's case. She said like she still love this nigga. See, Diddy got a few ringers. He got a few ringers in this here trial that is working on his behalf that's testifying. How did you feel? I felt exhilarated. It was taboo. I had a good time with my partner. Did you think you'd do it again? No. Or maybe a few times, something taboo. How did things change? It opened Pandora's box. There was so much of it afterwards, too much of it. How often? All the time. I went along. Later, did you tell him you did not want it? Yes. In writing or verbally? Both, many times. What did Sean tell you about your rent when you said you did not want to have sex with me? Did he give me maybe 3 or more months? So again, it's another jet where a motherfucker is saying, I don't want to do something, but for the love of this money, I will do it. He said he'd give you maybe 3 more months. So that's a 3-month head start for you to get your shit in order. But nope, you didn't want to go back to doing whatever the fuck you was doing. You already got, so, like, money ain't even a fucking issue for you. You got a baby about 50 cents. This nigga's giving you money. What the fuck? This don't even make sense. What did Sean tell you about your rent when you said you not want to have sex with other men? Did he give me maybe 3 more months? How did you feel? Frustrated, obligated. Obligated to do what? Objection. This here is some bullshit. Free Diddy. Between 2023 to the time of his arrest, did he pay your rent and make you feel obligated to have sex with other men? Yes. What did you two call this night? Debaucheries or hotel nights? How often did you see him? Often. Every time you'd see him. Did you have hotel nights? Yes. Even though we spent a day or two together after, it all felt like a hotel night. Who decided when? Sean, on short notice. I always had childcare ready. Son of a bitch. I was always put together. What do you mean? My hair, my nails, my tan. He wanted me beautiful. Did you go out with friends? Not after a trip in summer 2022. He was dismissive. In the summer of 2021, to France. I went to the south of France with my friends. He was angry in the voice notes. Who did he want you to look like? Or what did he want you to look like? Straight hair, ponytail when we had sex. He wanted me to pierce where? My nipples. We'll talk about that. Okay, I ain't even mad at you for the titty piercings. Diddy, I ain't mad at you about that at all. I fuck with those. Between 2021 and the break in 2023, how much money did you make and how? Social media posts, but that went down because my presence went down. I was focused on Sean. He would give me money here and there. How much at one time? $20,000. Did you tell him you wanted to make your own money? When OnlyFans got big, I told him I wanted to do it like one of my model friends. He gave me this hesitant energy like, no, What is OnlyFans? Subscribe to models. I do nudity. But no sex acts. Right, but he didn't approve. Why did you feel you needed his approval? I felt he was my boyfriend. Even though she had no, well, what the fuck ever. This lady is crazy as fuck. Sealed exhibit. What is this? My lease. April 4th, 2023. How much was the rent each month? $10,000. Sean said, let's do a love contract. It was a flirty thing. He asked, how much allowance did I want going forward? I said 15. He said 10,000. Yes, I wanted a beautiful home for balance. What's this? A wire transfer. To pay your rent? Yes. Who got you plane tickets to fly to the hotel? His travel agent, Jess, or KK? So if they're trying to always say he got other people doing shit for him, how come these other people aren't on trial with him? It's just him. But that's what they're trying to say. Well, Diddy had all these people that worked for him book it and set it up, but they was doing it under his direction. So why aren't they being charged? What were the hotel suites like? Red lights, sheets everywhere for the excessive use of baby oil. How many bottles? Objection. Sustain. Per night? Per hotel night. 24 bottles or more. Yeah, he like his baby oil. I guess he just, I guess because y'all know how oil is and stuff. You just turn that motherfucker upside down and it just go everywhere. A squirt or two bottle probably gone. This night, exhibit not shown in the gallery. Where was the hotel night? In my apartment. What did you wear during these hotel nights? Lingerie, high stripper shoes. What would you and the other man do first? Objection. Rephrase this shit. Who would you greet? The entertainer. I was on drugs. Sean told me to touch myself, then the sex. Forgive me for asking, but oral or intercourse? Oral. Later, I will be with Sean. Would you clean up the ejaculate? No. What the fuck? Diddy's a odd fellow. How long were the hotel nights? 20 or 30 hours. We could break here. Jurors, we may start staying later. Do not speak with each other about the case. All rise. Jane's counsel wants to remind those in the gallery not to report any personal identifying information from the lawyer's screen. I may submit a letter about the SCIF, but will it be in the docket? Adjourned. So is that, wait, that's it? We could break here. Is that it for the night? It gotta be. Oh yeah, it's definitely verified that this, yeah, that's Diddy baby mama. After that, let's see. We did that one. Show more replies. Yeah, adjourned. Yeah, that means they were done for the day. Adjourned. Yeah, I think they said fact check, no Brad Pitt testimony. Only mention the premiere of his killing himself in today's trial don't start to 10:30-11, so shooting this down. Okay, yeah, that was, if that was the German, I think that was it. I'm just double checking. I'm gonna need to hit show more replies. Yep, that was it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We could be day 18, and I'm still not convinced. All the witnesses love Diddy. They say they don't hate him, none of this shit. They ain't saying they're like just nothing. But all right, y'all. We'll be on it again tomorrow. Well, because tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow because it's supposed to be a short day for them anyway. So yeah, we'll be day 17. To the next episode, we out.
Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Now he bleeding, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit. All my niggas wildin', they done labeled us a misfit. Wake up every morning, 2 or 3, 5 in the thick bitch. Oh shit, didn't nobody come to see you old. It's some focus, shoot 100 shots, no reloaded. Master of the game, you would think I'm into coded. Memphis niggas spit this pimpin', mackin' like I'm golden. Ho, with my money, you gon' turn me to the old me. Say hi, first class flight, I'm in the nosebleed. Copy, cooking, whipping, shipping, till you count the proceeds. OG, I've been moving back niggas since 03. Low key, niggas hating, but they don't want no beat. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we gon' eat. Get jammed, get a lawyer, make it bunny, don't speak. Pour up, oh, I need some more. A nigga had a long week. Shout out to my plug, he showed me love, he out in Long Beach. I'm true geek, walking by myself but left with 2 freaks. Ooh, we nothing in they mouth and on they booty. Austin Power swag, yeah, baby, this is groovy. You can call me money boy, or you can call me nudie. Hood niggas, churches, chicken, let me get a 2-piece. Top down, 2-seater, let me feel the 2 breathe. Gotta hold it steady, chopper, kick it back like Bruce Lee. Lately I've been in the zone, I guess I'm in my 2-3. Don't call my phone for nothing less than a QP. Feeling like the Migos, cause my bitch is bad and bougie. All my haters love me, all these bitches just some groupies. Came a long way, I like to introduce the new me. Standing on business like I'm king or like I'm Drewski. Call me Ron Island cause I like my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. Call me Ron Island cause I love my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. I never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Niggas talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry, baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit.